I tried Tesla FSD Supervised on a demo drive. Tesla's Supervised Full Self-Driving FSD has been at the center of the company's long-term strategy for years. And seeing as I've been covering the company and its competitors since 2020, I decided it was finally time to try it out myself. The process of scheduling a demo drive was simple. I scheduled it online through Tesla's test drive page, and because I was hoping to focus on FSD, I shot an email over to the Loveland team, letting them know that I was coming and was planning to try the software out. I got a quick response, in which one of the advisors offered to schedule me for an extended demo drive, effectively giving me a 3-hour window to try out FSD Supervised. On Monday, I headed out from my house in Fort Collins, Colorado, to the next town over, Loveland, to try Tesla's latest FSD Supervised version available. While I initially scheduled a demo drive for a Model Y with FSD Supervised v13.2.2, one of the Tesla advisors informed me that there was also a Model S on site with version v13.2.2.1, so I elected to test that one instead. After getting a quick rundown from the advisor on the Model South, my demo drive officially began. I typed my first destination into the navigation system, pressed and held the blue Start FSD Supervised button, and off I went. Tesla's FSD Supervised autonomy is definitely on the way. Perhaps many people have this experience when trying FSD out for the first time, but right off the bat, I found myself laughing at how it worked, and a little scared that it would make a mistake. This Model S was now driving me out of the Loveland Tesla parking lot to a nearby Target through busy parking lots, turns, and lane changes, and it was pretty uncomfortable at first not to be the one making the maneuvers, let alone the fact that no person was making these maneuvers, but rather, it was the vehicle doing it on its own. I felt like an anxious passenger, my feet pressed firmly on the floor in distrust and disbelief, only I was sitting in the driver's seat. I really couldn't do much but laugh at how strange the experience had felt so far. Then, not long after my first trip, something interesting happened. My mindset slowly shifted from fear to trust with each correct maneuver, and I managed my first few drives without disengaging at all, offering a true testament to how well FSD Supervised performed on this test. Granted, I went in without too much of a plan, and wasn't targeting fringe cases or particularly tough maneuvers. I just wanted to see if this car could drive me around for a few hours, and to feel what it was like to demo FSD Supervised as a newcomer. It's worth noting that I did most of my driving in FSD's chill mode, though I also tested a few drives in both standard and hurry. Personally, I think I would probably keep it in chill mode most of the time, as it's the most similar to how I drive of the three. Below are a few moments from the drive that show some of the system's capabilities, even turning onto busy roads that would be difficult for a human driver. Tesla's FSD Supervised reverses out of a parking spot, and we're off. Tesla's FSD Supervised takes a few left turns onto busy roads, another busy left turn. FSD handled this busy turn with ease. Another left turn during a somewhat busy time of day. I was a little scared, not going to lie, but FSD handled it well. Tesla's FSD Supervised tackles a 2-lane roundabout and parking lot. Roundabout? No problem. A 2-lane roundabout that FSD handled pretty comfortably. Left-hand turn out of a parking lot. It was pretty busy in there, but it was well handled. The car navigated easily through the intersection just as I would have. Tesla Cybertruck receives FSD Supervised v13.2.4 update. The temptation not to pay attention, and my most critical disengagement. Elon Musk and others have talked up FSD Supervised v13 since its release, as well as claiming that unsupervised driving is just around the corner. While it does feel closer than ever, after years of reporting on small tweaks, improvements and developments, I think it's also worth emphasizing again that the system still requires the driver to pay attention, even though it's tempting to believe that it can handle all the driving by itself. As I drove more and more, or rather as the car drove me, I became more comfortable trusting that FSD Supervised was going to make the right decisions, which it did about 99% of the time. I was lulled into somewhat of a false sense of safety that almost had me believing the vehicle didn't need to be supervised. But that 1% of the time, maybe even less, that it did get confused, still required my input. I only had a few interventions for the whole experience, but one in particular had me a little scared after having become a little complacent and too trusting. As you can see in the video below, FSD Supervised was looking to merge into the right lane when two vehicles slowed down. The Model S attempted to change lanes anyway, requiring me to overtake the wheel and keep driving straight. Our first bit of adversity. This was the most dangerous intervention I faced. I only had about 3 the whole time. FSD was trying to merge right, but the vehicles in that lane slowed down, and the car didn't seem to understand what was going on. Besides the quick moment of fear in deciding I needed to take the wheel, it really was not a big deal once I regained control. It was actually a good wake-up call. This system still needs to be supervised, even if it makes fewer and fewer mistakes with each new version, and feels like a solid human driver for the vast majority of the time. I had a few other disengagements on my drive, mostly when the vehicle seemed to get confused about uncommon traffic circumstances, or in confusing parking lot scenarios without clear signage. However, these moments made up a very small portion of my experience, and I can only imagine what another couple of years of development will do. Tesla's FSD Supervised still needs supervision, but I got a good glimpse into a future of autonomy. All in all, I really enjoyed trying out FSD Supervised, and I hope to do it again sometime. Additionally, I'd recommend trying it out to anyone, especially if you're interested in seeing where driving tech is headed. While I definitely got a glimpse into the future potential for fully autonomous driving, I also think it still requires supervision, even if just for those very seldom moments where the system gets confused. The margin for error with driving safety is obviously extremely low, though I do believe Tesla will eventually make good on its aim to make this system better than human drivers in time, and it already feels pretty close the majority of the time. I hope to do this again sometime soon, and a major shout out to the Tesla Loveland team for making the experience smooth and for answering all my questions along the way. Source: reposted and summarized from Zachary Visconti at teslarati.